And a pleasant good afternoon. Episode number 2. It's December 1, 2023. We've almost got to 2024. It's the Pag Meter here on Game On. Okay. I want to thank Marty from Lab Gear. How's nice is this sign?
That's
Marty,
professional.
Matty J, the one and only Matty J in the house. And of course, Jake Saldati is our producer and just all around great guy. He's teaching us how to do this gear, guys.
I try.
I want to, so.
Well, you guys need to be heard.
Yeah, episode 1 went great, and I want to thank all the great responses. You can always email the pagmeter@yahoo.com, so thank you so much. But you know the thing, I wear readers. Okay, Jake, I know you have glasses.
I wear them every day, all day.
Yeah, and a lot of people down and who's listening to the Game On show, my little gripe is you go out and buy glasses, and, everyone wants to keep the glasses clean, right? You want to have the glasses clean. What do? They put the sticker right in front. So you start clawing it like a piece of chicken. It irritates me, Jake. Irritates me. Now I got scratching on my new glasses. I couldn't get the sticker off. And
Was your sticker, was it like a rubberized type sticker? It's a cheap rubberized sticker, doesn't it?
No,
it's not supposed to grab like that.
Well, you think? Well, I don't know.
I buy mine from the Dollar General, and they're now $1.50. Used to be $1. They're $1.50. Yeah. Biden inflation hit us. But it's just I got what you're saying, but it just comes off, and there's no residue whatsoever.
Yeah. See, Jake's our producer. He's going to figure this out.
Well, you're covering up the face. We want to see the mug.
I have a radio face. As you know, we're starting our new Game On podcast. We got a lot to talk about. Let's start with the big news. This, if you're noticing, we're going to be talking state playoff football. It's already happened. We're going to try to predict what's going to happen this weekend. But Jeff Tedford is going to step down from the bowl game. He's still technically going to coach Jake and Matty J. But I think, Coach, if you're listening, he's got to lose at least 100 pounds. He's got to get in shape.
Whoa.
He doesn't look good on the sidelines. I think he's done.
100 pounds would be a little extreme.
I got to lose like 100 pounds.
Well, I'm just saying, when you have if you're bad health conditions like he is, what kind of doctor is letting him do this? So Jeff Tedford did a great job, and he's got an open book. Anytime he wants to coach at Fresno State, he can coach as long as he wants. He's the one who brought the program back from a horrible Tim DeRuyter. He got it back on track. So
Kalen DeBoer kept it going.
Right. Yeah, Kalen DeBoer, and now Jeff, I think he leaves. I think he's done. Maybe he just becomes a consultant or a general manager of the football program.
Whatever he wants to do, he's earned that right. I was saying, I probably talked to you guys maybe by week 3 or 4, and the Bulldogs were getting on a good run, and by the time they started getting national attention, but most of the games were televised, and I kept calling over to you, Pag Meter, thinking, man, is it just me, or he just does not look right? Like he may be a little pale or just not fully energetic, it didn't seem like to me. And I'm guaranteeing you, this has been something he's probably been battling with for about 7-8 weeks at least, where he's been feeling a little bit of the effects of whatever's going on with his heart or internally.
Jake?
I'm a big Tedford fan. I don't think it's official that I think he's just stepping away for the bowl game. Nothing official's been said to retiring or leaving the team. But
he's had it before.
Right.
To take that step out of a bowl game, which everybody wants to complete the year, it just does not sound good to me. I mean, I would hope that he's okay, obviously. But,
absolutely.
He has a history of that now, and then he's got back to might be something different. I don't even know. But it just seems like that's enough. You're 62. What is he, 62? Nick? Yeah, I think he's 62 years old. He's made probably all the money he needs. I mean, he could seriously think about retiring. Or as you said perfectly, you could always be there. He could be sorry, Mr. Toomey, but he could be the associate athletic director and still be in the front office. There's always a home for alumni Jeff Tedford. Sure.
I don't want to be disrespectful, right? But we do talk sports. I mean, I guess you could consider us media. And again, with all due respect, like, say he does step down.
Yeah.
Is there somebody that can come in? I mean, at the time when DeBoer left for Washington, I think everybody could agree Coach Tedford was the only answer in that moment at that time.
Yeah.
Going forward, I think Coach Skipper is going to take over the bowl game, as well as somebody else I thought I saw.
Yeah. There's plenty of capable young coaches on that staff that he has brought back. I mean, names like John Baxter. I mean, my goodness. I mean, there's plenty of talent and experience to go become the head coach if it's more than just an interim tag. I would hope that they would stay if that happens, like you said.
Right. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible.
Because we have to respect
but
Teddy.
Also speculate.
But
again.
if that is the case, absolutely, I would seriously consider Skip. Well, I love that guy. Even a John Baxter, but as you move down the list, Terry, or the receivers coach guy that now is the offensive coordinator, he's good too. Kirby, right? Wasn't he here?
He was gone.
Kirby Moore?
Yeah, Kirby Moore.
Is at Missouri.
He's at Missouri,
number 9 in the country.
There you go. Well, he's got Bulldog ties.
And that's kind of where I was, I guess that's a guy I thought about. But then Boise State's also open, and he's, I believe, a Boise State alum.
He is.
So that may be an option. I think Coach Inge at Washington, who was at Fresno State with the
good one. Yeah.
Was also a guy that interviewed.
But I would keep, this would be the moment where we have alumni in Coach Tedford. You have alumni in Skipper.
100%.
You have more alumni available to you on that staff. It might be the moment. Might be the moment where they reach out to, I don't know, Trent Dilfer, maybe. Something like that would work for me.
Wow, I've heard you guys discuss Trent Dilfer.
We've said it many times.
It's been like a decade.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, but I know you've brought that up.
And I don't know the financing part of Fresno State, but it comes down to recruiting. And I think Trent can walk into anybody's living room. We've always said, I know a lot of people love him or hate him. Deion Sanders, I think he can recruit now.
Does this raise concerns? Not concerns, but again, I'm trying to use my words wisely. I'm trying to pick the right words.
We don't do that on this show.
I know. Well, 100 pounds. Jesus Christ.
Nobody. You're not in a category, Jake, or a area that we're all talking about it.
Right.
Let's be clear on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know the respect for Coach Tedford is at the highest of levels, but to be disingenuous, everyone's talking about it. Where do we go next if this is a permanent deal?
Right.
So all bets are off when it comes down to respect.
Where I'm going is the recruiting side and guys hitting, like every 16 seconds, it feels like somebody's hitting the portal right now. Does this, how bad does it affect Fresno State?
Well, first of all, it's a bowl game. It's an exhibition bowl game. It means well, by Monday when this comes out, we're already going to know. Sunday, right?
For the bowl game?
Yeah, who we're going to know. Is there, and I don't know, is there any potential?
But I mean, do we see decommitments if this is something that
possibly
raises concern for some of those guys?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But here's my educated take on this, because just this morning news was out that I was not aware. I'm going to give you guys some numbers it's really staggering to me, but I knew something was going on. And we're going to talk about the NIL and what all kinds of problems are involved in that. But let's talk about the transfer portal. The transfer portal started in the first 2 years of existence. They've tracked 17%, 14 to 17% of your roster was built with transfer portals, which means, round numbers, 80% of your team were recruits. We lobbied a long time ago that the transfer portal, and then we had COVID hit, how many high school seniors are going to be shafted in the end of getting good scholarships to D1s? In today's 2022-2023 numbers are indicating it's trending where transfer portal makes up 40% of your roster, which means there's only 60%. So 6 out of 10 scholarships are going to the high school kids. And I believe junior college has to be wrapped into that too. So how many high school kids are left out there hanging? You wonder why a Liberty Flames team, which is playing tomorrow or tonight in the big game, New Mexico State Liberty. It is Friday, ladies and gentlemen, but they play for the championship of their conference, and the Liberty Flames at 12-0, their team has been made up of what they now call 3 stars. There's no more 2 stars. It's 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. 2 stars idea is dead. Everybody's a 3, a 4, and a 5, which means the 3-star is full of 1, 2, and 3 stars. That's the category you put them in now. And so many of those players are now available based on this transfer portal that they can't go to the LSU, the USC, the Alabama, Georgia, UCLAs. They are looking at the next step down. And that is where Liberty has been getting most of their talent. in what we call the 3-star arena, because those guys are not, there's not enough scholarships at the big boy schools to do what the teachers, the educators, and the ADs and everybody's trying to do is win now.
Right.
It's all based on transfer portal.
But if you're a Liberty Star,
My point is Fresno State has a beautiful ability now to cherry pick recruits they probably were never going to get before. And the last part of that, which Rick Neuheisel made this comment, which I think is right on the money, that they have now opened the recruiting pitch when they come to the living room with these young kids who are potential 4-star, 5-star guys or already 4 or 5-star guys. Listen, come to my school for a year or two. I'll help you blossom to get your dreams realized of going to Oklahoma, LSU. And I will help sign the paperwork and call the coach for you. Come with me for a couple years, and then you can make that jump from, let's say, Fresno State to the University of Oregon. It's a heck of a lot better track than taking your chances going to a small school with not a lot of clout and then maybe trying to make the jump from there. There are coaches who are actively recruiting, telling kids that I don't want to tell you about the 4 or 5-year plan. You should have a 2-year plan with me, because if you are who I think you are, you're going to flourish through our program. And then if you have dreams of playing for Nick Saban type school, we will help accommodate that for you.
and that's the new world, I guess, recruiting. It's a 2-year plan. So if you're a high school senior, you got to go anywhere you can. I mean, Fresno State-wise, we know Logan Fife has just left because I think he got probably disrespected. He was going to be a backup. And I'm going to be honest with you. Mikey Keene, he's a fantastic backup quarterback. Is he the guy that's going to take us to the next level? Sorry, Mikey Keene fans out there.
Do you think it's too early to make that statement, though?
I'm going to say,
Matty J, would you agree with that? I mean, he's a sophomore with
I don't really
more
care.
development that could be done.
He's too soft to play a Division I college quarterback.
Nick's been talking
Sorry.
that for consistently throughout the year, even a little bit of
From the start.
Yeah, from the very start. I don't know, but I do know this. Yes, Logan Fife made the right move. I talked about this today with some of our student athletes in Madera Unified, and the bottom line is, if you have delusional thoughts of who you are, and then you go to this big school, thank goodness for the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Because in my day, I saw blue chip. Man, that quarterback's never going to play. He's 4 or 5 on the depth chart. So for Logan Fife to go out and go get a hold of a school like, Southwest Missouri State or someone and make his own way would be great. I don't think he's going to get any sniffs from the largest of the schools, but the problem is he better at least take advantage of the money out there, because the coach out at Nebraska Matt Rule made it very clear that the going rate for transfer portal quarterbacks right now is $1 million to $1.5 million.
That's just
Power
annually.
5 type guy. Yeah, it's insane.
Power 5 quarterback transfer portal, that's an automatic $1 million ticket for you.
That's unbelievable to me. So do you give Jaden Mandel, the Buchanan Bears quarterback who left early, he's really, I think he's a legitimate freshman / sophomore now after leaving early. He didn't graduate at Buchanan. He went early to play spring ball. He's the number 2 guy now. I think you give him a shot, because this bowl game means nothing. And I'm going to tell all the college out there, if you want to, I don't know, show what your football program's all about, if it's 4th and inches and you're punting, you're an idiot. This is where you want to show the recruits, God, we have a fun program. We're doing some fake punting. We're doing some different things, because these bowl games are nothing. And this is what college football does. They give you the top 4, the final 4 going for the national championship. The rest of the bowl games, I'm talking for the small school. There's always a big one.
No.
It's a formality. That's all I'm saying. So
But
give
talking
Jaden Mandel a shot.
Going for it on 4th, and then I know Coach Tedford was asked that at San Diego State after the game, and Matty J being a football coach for a long time and having to make those decisions. Do you think in moments, the finish to this season was disappointing? And that's being probably nice about it.
Yep.
But do you think in moments where it is 4th and 1 and you're at the 45, 50 and what the analytics and numbers and what they may say versus what your offense needs?
It depends.
You need a spark, maybe going for it on
All I'm
4th
saying,
and 1.
Jake, I'm just saying.
Might give you that spark.
Nick Pagnieter's on to the point of, it's a bowl game. It's not the Sugar Bowl.
Right.
It's the Pull and Weed Eater Bowl. And it's time to go fake punt, Go for it on 4th and 3. Just do it because what in the big picture? But I do.
But we weren't doing that recently. And that's
No.
my
I'm
point.
talking about the bowl game.
Those games are a little different. In bowl games, it's like you.
But
said,
I mean,
It's
last
an- it's a
weekend,
different animal.
It's an exhibition.
It's an extra few weeks of practice.
Yeah.
It's time now to maybe see a Jaden Mandel live. Bullets flying all over the place. See what he's like. Just give him a little bit of experience.
We know.
But I
all
guess what I'm
about-
saying is why not? Sunday, this last weekend against San Diego State, we knew we're not playing for anything.
Well, I
No.
think
That was the last game of the season.
That's right.
So why not then?
Here's my
Yeah.
2 cents of Fresno State this year, and I said it all along, and all the Bulldog fans, Pat Meter, you're always negative about Fresno State. Listen, they were overrated all year. They played, it's the perfect storm year. They played Purdue was horrible at the time. Arizona State, maybe the worst team in the last 50 years. Everyone they played was horrible that week. And then people found out, hey, we can't stop the run. Injuries or not, I don't really care. This has not been a good year. To go 8-4, that is fantastic.
I think so too. I think the 8-4 versus, Wyoming, that was a good ball game, right? We lost to a better team, I think, that night. Better second half was played by the
We
Dogs.
shouldn't have beat
But you look at
UNLV.
the other 3 losses and you think about what could have been.
Yeah.
That's where people get upset. We could have 10 wins already going into a bowl
Well,
game.
I'll say it. We didn't beat UNLV. UNLV beat themselves. That was the worst.
Oh, I think
play
Eastern
calling
Washington,
I've ever
we
seen.
got away with one against Eastern Washington as well.
You can go to every game, and they just played some teams that were struggling at the time, and then San Jose State woke them up.
It clearly was not. San Jose State's a team, and Brent Brennan, the head coach, is saying he has to be hotter than a 3-peckered toad right now.
But
how many times he's got that team rolling? I wish they were. I would like to take flight to Vegas, like leave late tonight, to watch the game they were going to play against UNLV. I thought San Jose State was golden ticket.
But you
right
said
to the
it
Mountain
for 8
West.
years, the most underrated program at San Jose State. Why aren't they better every year with that?
Yeah.
With all the athletes they can get, and now they're proving it. They
Well,
got
yeah,
that crazy stadium. I don't know who
Going
built
back
that.
to the original comments about transfer portal and everything's going on, I think we're seeing more quality ability out of smaller group of 5 type teams than we've ever seen. And oh, by the way, the Mountain West was pretty horrible this year overall.
It was horrible.
Anytime Boise State is not really relevant, which is shocking, they're back in the tournament game. But I wasn't impressed. Hats off to UNLV. It's about time.
Yeah.
San Jose State got it going on, and Fresno State. Those are the 3 that we talked about. Air Force just fell completely off the map. I thought for sure they're going to crash the party and get a big bowl game, and then they went into the tubes. But the bottom line is, you're talking quarterbacks. If you're a quarterback like a Logan Fife or even a Jaden Mandel, if things don't work out and they bring in another recruit, he doesn't get a chance. There is a lot of activity out there in the transfer portal.
I'm getting answer or Pag Meter. How about Nate Johnson, former Clovis Cougar, who was at Utah? Does he come home? And Nate is the fastest. Got to be the fastest quarterback in the nation.
Well, and their guy's coming back, right? Their starter said he's
he's
7th year.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
He is yes, and he needs to come back. Because I would hate to go in the draft coming off of all year being out with an injury, seeing how it works for him, because he's clearly an NFL draft prospect.
Sure. Yeah.
But the money that's out there in these collectives, the transfer portal in college, I'm not just talking football, there was over 22 to 24,000 kids went into the portal last year. But only 12 ended up with a home. So it still is a risk. How dare those kids that want to think the grass is greener and they leave, but they don't have a backup plan? Is anyone out there talking to you?
Right.
So you have to get in the portal, find out if there's any activity, and then take your chances with going crying back to your coach saying, I'd like to come back and be the backup, please.
How do you feel about that? Because I know Texas Sarkisian says that's not you. Once you make that decision to leave, you're out. You're gone.
In a way, it should be.
I agree.
Well, I used to think that way. I don't feel that way anymore. Because the world has changed. It's no longer the world of like, hey, if he doesn't want us, we don't want him. Bye-bye. Good luck to you. Those days are over because
not for me.
This transfer portal thing, the money is so potentially big.
But
you have to tread the waters. How are you going to
as a coach, if I'm Texas, I'm Sarkisian, who came out and flat out said, if you want to leave, you're out.
I like that.
What opportunity did I not provide? You had an opportunity to become a starter. You didn't earn it. You've gotten paid. You've gotten the scholarship. You've gotten, and that's on. Then see ya. Bye. We've done all we can do for you.
But here's the other part.
I don't believe
let's
that.
say you do that.
Yeah.
Let's say Jake wants to be on the transfer portal. He, and you go in your style. Go out and check it out. And he comes back with his tail between his legs. Nobody wanted me. You really? How's that going to handle?
I bring him right back into the mix unless
I would.
Listen, you've been jaded. You went into the portal. I have been grooming another guy. You want to come back now? Well, you're not the guy. You have to go earn it back. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, that's different.
Maybe that's not how it went with
that's different
with Jake. Maybe that's not how it went down. But I think you're talking Steve Sarkisian, I think that's a little disingenuous. If Xavier Worthy would have left last year to at least try it out, and then he came crying back like, man, it wasn't what I thought out there. Can I come back? I guarantee you Sark would have been like, absolutely.
No, but I'm saying I like your theory. If you do that,
I mean, if I leave a
if
job,
you come back and say, okay, you're going to come back.
It's all about value.
But you're third string. You're good luck. If you leave, I'm going to let you know you're going to come back. You're going to be third string. That's different than saying.
You're talking a job. You're talking about in real life.
If I lost an employee to a competitor and he's like, man, it wasn't greener over there, I want to come back, I'd be like, well, no, sorry.
But okay. But if that ex-employee was an A+ for you as far as production, work, ideas, creativity, and he was that good that he wanted to try it, see what's out there, and it didn't work out for him, I would welcome him back. Think about
But I also survived the year without him too.
Well, that's
so how, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of variables. I'm just talking about purely from an athletic standpoint.
I would ask.
I guess, and I get what you're saying in today's climate.
Yeah. If Tom Brady, at let's say year 8 of Tom Brady, somehow got into the NFL version of transfer portal, he goes off to the Steelers. He ran into a snag with the Steelers quarterback and offensive coordinator coach. Did not like it. Called back to Belichick. I'd like to come back. Dude, the guy, he's Tom Brady. Come on back. It's the NFL. How many guys that I've coached with? I've coached with, let's go, Matilda Toros. That staff was built with a lot of guys I coached at Edison with. I'd welcome those guys back anytime. We went about our ways. But good coaches, good talented players. Now, if the guy was a complete, every day he's in my office, he's an absolute tremendous talent, but he's not part of the standard and culture of what we're trying to build, I'm with you guys 100%.
Well,
but this new world we live in, there's so much money out there. If you're a backup quarterback, and let's just say for the sake of argument for Fresno State that Mikey Keene is getting, I'm just going to throw round numbers out. His value is $100,000 a year. I don't know if we have that in the collective. We have to check with Chris Pacheco, but he's $100,000 a year quarterback. And Logan Fife he gets $12,000 a year in NIL money. And he's out there believing that he could be $100,000 a year quarterback. Well, you're going to let the guy give it a try.
Yeah, but we lost a guy like Henderson to Texas A&M who had no shot at Fresno State. And his last 2 starts at A&M, he played well.
That's pretty good, doesn't he?
What did we miss? Yeah. He's mobile. Like, he does a lot of things.
This is why we know what we get from Mikey Keenan. We get him a soft, little, fragile quarterback. We know already. He can't roll out. He's going to get hurt. Putting Jaden Mandel in a bowl game, the bowl game means absolutely nothing. Win or lose, we're going to get some money. We're going to get maybe a duffel bag out of the deal. Who cares? We've lost 3 in a row. Bring him in, because what if Nate Johnson ends up at Fresno State?
Does Mandel leave then?
I don't know.
Does he go play baseball?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
He's a good baseball player too.
In the world today, we're doing this in high school. Quarterbacks. Well, we got to play the sophomore kid because if we play the senior kid, the sophomore might transfer. It's happening all over the place, from high school quarterbacks to college, and now seniors can't get recruited out of the deal. It's tough out there, and it's not going to get any easier. Yeah. Speaking of Fresno State, and we got now the Pac-2. What's your theory with Washington State and Oregon State? Are we just happy? Okay. Do we have any choice?
Well, it looks like Oregon State's going to face a rebuild now.
Oh,
Possibly.
I'm just telling you now.
Quarterbacks bouncing.
Yeah,
Washington State,
two quarterbacks left.
With
Oregon
them
State.
not in the real Pac-12, Washington State and Oregon State recruits are going to be horrible now.
Well, they were kind of the barrel of the Pac-12 as it is.
Thank you. Nothing changes for Oregon State and Washington State. What does potentially change is a big fat positive. They have legally, now there's been another one that's gone the other way, but they're legally in the crosshairs of accepting, $400 million of revenue that goes to those two universities. The downside has nothing to do with the Pac-12. They got or the Pac-2. They got a great deal. This is not, secretive information. This is out there now. They've already cut a deal with the Mountain West for 6 of their games. And then the 7th game would be between each other. So they've got to go out and search for 5 games in non-conference type games or 5 games as an independent, which will be easy to fill. But they cut a deal with the Mountain West, and they're going to give the Mountain West Conference $14 million to do what they want, which basically equates to about $1 million, a little change after $1 million for each university in the existing Mountain West. Another horrible deal for the Mountain West. $1 million, you're going to give me $1 million, then after we pay our stuff and do all our stuff and send the equestrian team overseas to, Greece to do their little equestrian thing, the football program or the basketball program, the two money makers are going to receive what? $100,000? I would have, knowing that the Pac-2 is in line to make $300 to $400 million in this entire legal thing they're going through, I would have at least asked, can you give each program $5 million and we'll back you up, Pac-2, and you have guaranteed games with my 11, is there 11 members in the Mountain West or 10?
I don't know.
I think there's 10.
Why do you put pressure on us?
I think it's 10. Well, it's 9, 10, 11. It's in that range. My point is, they certainly could have afforded to give the Mountain West, and everyone's giving Navarez, the commissioner of the Mountain West, oh, great job. What a great negotiation. That negotiation was about as bad as the Bulldog Valley Children's Hospital
Mountain West.
negotiation.
Who's the 2 biggest rival teams in the Mountain West?
In the Mountain West?
Yeah.
Rival? Probably.
I think you got 12 in football.
Okay. I would say
Mountain West.
12. Okay.
Well, let me make it easier for you.
I would say probably Boise State, Fresno State.
And why aren't they playing every year?
I would say San Jose State, Fresno State.
Okay, they play every year. I get it. But why isn't Boise State playing Fresno State every single year? Mountain West, you suck. It's like UCLA and USC. We're not going to have you play this year. Wait, what? Auburn, Alabama, no, we're going to take the year off. What kind of program you have the 2 big, it's going to be an automatic ESPN, whatever, Fox Sports, whatever, sellout crowd on both stadiums, and they don't play every year? What are they thinking about? What am I missing?
Well, clearly what you're missing is in the Pac-12, they went west and north, basically, right?
I don't really care.
So that kept UCLA in the backyard because they're in the same version of the conference. In the Southeast Conference, they kept the greatest, the Florida-Georgia game. That's the great rivalry game every year. They kept them in the same division. Well, Boise State's not in our division.
It doesn't matter.
We're lumped up with San Diego State. That's our big game. Or San Jose State. Boise State's big game is probably like Colorado State or Utah State.
It's Fresno State. Boise State and Fresno State are
it's a big game for you and I, but nationally speaking, is it truly a rivalry game? Like a big deal? Yeah. Apparently not.
Yes, it is.
Or Mountain West wouldn't be that stupid.
This is why, Matt.
They would match.
I mean, I think you're both things can be true here.
This is why you're a referee.
We've seen the year Fresno State won in Boise.
Yeah, huge.
They lost that year to Boise also, and that's why they had to travel to Boise. They played twice. That's a win.
All I'm saying is Boise State is our big brother. We're the baby brother.
But maybe
they own us.
Mountain West is saying these two are going to end up playing each other in a championship.
Yeah.
The ratings then are going to be as good as the ratings during the regular season.
All I'm saying, they own us. They've owned us
They
since
don't
year
own,
2000.
No, they had us.
They
now
beat us.
We own them now.
Out of 10, they beat us 8 out of 10 every time. They're better. They're just better than we are. Okay, we need to play them every year.
I think we've had their number recently.
Yeah.
The rival.
It's a rival. That's what I'm saying. It's not a rival if your rival beats you every time. That's not a rival.
But let's at least be clear on one thing. Nevada, I was going to say Nevada, maybe. No.
No
one can match up with Fresno State in overall athletic programs, can they? Boise State certainly doesn't stick out to me like, oh, they're the preeminent.
No,
power
I mean
of
San
Mountain
Diego
West
State
athleticism.
is I mean,
Football,
based on the blue
basketball.
turf.
you got a
and football.
basketball team make a Final Four. You've had your
Yeah.
baseball team have some success and some big leaguers.
Yeah.
Your football team was down this year, but they've
Right.
had recent success.
Yeah. For men and women's athletics, I thought Fresno State was pretty much the top of the food chain.
I'm just talking football here.
I know you are. I don't even know why I'm saying that. I'm
Yeah,
just going off on a
exactly.
tangent. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I just want to see.
I don't
boy,
even know how we got
all
here.
I
It's
know,
high school Friday,
if you're-
Saturday
Yeah,
championship.
if you're a Fresno State fan, the first thing you do when you get the schedule, are we playing Boise State? That's the first thing. You think people care about New Mexico's or the Wyomings? They care about. They don't even care about San Jose State.
Yes,
until
they
last
do.
Year. Till last year when San Jose State got good. Oh my
stop
God!
it. San Jose State and Fresno State's been a back and forth to the days all the way back to what, the Pacific Coast League.
They
or whatever
beaten
it was.
us. We beaten them 10
the WAC
freaking
conference.
state
It's been
10
San
years
Jose
every
State.
time. Grow up.
You were going to
San
say
Jose
the
State, yeah.
bad word there,
Yeah.
Nick.
Okay,
Matt's
okay.
getting it.
No, seriously though. But last I checked,
he
I
gets
watched
me-
that game
he
on
gets me
TV.
going.
I wanted to go live, but there's a trophy. They have the Valley Trophy. The San Jose State game is a Valley Trophy involved. It's an actual.
I agree.
It's a rivalry.
I agree.
I mean, and it was placed on late
And
night.
I think it's
big TV.
I think it's bad on people to think, oh, we're just. I mean, we should expect to go win this, beat the San Jose States, the New Mexicos.
yeah.
Yes, those but if you like the lack of respect when we lose,
I have to believe you're right about San Jose State, though. Like what has gone on, we're the most underachieving program in the world. But with the new version of college football,
He always says this after that.
No, on that one you're right.
You gotta
Because
process.
I'm starting to think about it. There's a little thing legally now we're allowed to pay players, and it's alumni. Let's be honest, they're cheating. But the NCAA is so stupid they didn't figure it out correctly, obviously. But you're allowed to pay players now. How big, honestly, could the San Jose State collective become?
I agree.
Couldn't they just go down the street? And they're not looking for, like you and I did when we were in radio. I believe when we were at ESPN. Maybe we were on our own, or maybe we were at the CBS. I don't remember which one it was, but we went out trying to secure the big. I can't say the name, but the biggest sporting goods store, rhymes with Rick's in America, probably.
Oh, yeah.
And rather than going for the low hanging, $10,000 sponsorship level, I think we wrote the letter to get like $100,000 a month to sponsor us. Or whatever it was.
That was a Matt blunder.
If the
all have
Silicon
them.
Valley corporations would just step up and say, look, each of us are going to step up for $10,000 a year. I don't understand how you couldn't raise money for San Jose State.
Well, speaking of San
How
Jose
does that
State,
not benefit the
how about-
community of tech industry and the dot-coms that came through and all the stuff that's gone through in the Silicon Valley? How in the world are they just getting around to adding another side of bleachers to the stadium?
oh, and how many programs are up? You got Santa Clara doesn't have
Makes
a
no
football
sense.
program.
Well, speaking
Stanford's
of that,
not for everybody.
Yeah, come on.
and who really wants to go to Cal?
Nobody.
The most communist college we have in our country.
Well, no.
Who would want to go to
well,
Cal? And I would. I mean, if you don't want to play Fresno State every home and away to save some money, make some money,
I got
you
news.
suck.
I got news for you on
Sorry.
that Cal front. That I could take or leave Cal. I don't really care. I wouldn't go there, but I think it's a place for a lot of people, and God bless those people. But here's the deal: how the hell is Cal going to afford to be in the ACC?
Zero
Hey,
chance.
Gary, well, what's that? Well, we don't have money for baseball, no water polo, no swimming. We've got rid of every sport we have pretty much. We're completely in the red. We're going upside down daily. What's going on next week? Well, next week we're going off to play Clemson in a swim match. How are you going to afford that travel? Cal was already hurting financially. How are they stepping up?
They're
Is
gonna
there,
probably blame
is
it
there
on-
that much money in the ACC to help offset their bills?
Cal will blame it on climate change.
I mean, that's a
what
good
they'll
point.
I mean,
Maybe
Stanford could afford to do anything. They've got the second largest endowment probably in the world next to Harvard. Everything's paid for at Stanford. But Cal, we know Cal is financially strapped. And they're a state college, UC system. They don't have any money in California. How is Cal going to swing this deal in the ACC long term?
Maybe we get in there after they default.
It's kind of like the PAG meters deal on NIL money. Hey, Jimmy, come on in the office. The IRS is here. I'd like to meet with you. Apparently you haven't paid taxes in 3 years.
What? I'm supposed to pay taxes? Yeah, you can't play this weekend. Go get a tax attorney.
one question.
Yes.
We move on.
Unbelievable.
Did Dix respond to your guys' request?
Yeah.
They did?
Yes. Yeah. Negative.
Yeah, we could have got him.
It was a polite
10% off.
It was. They were doing a national deal for people that are helping young kids, talk show type stuff about local and all that.
We could have got him for 10.
And I read somewhere, I was reading the books on what to ask for, and 100,000 sponsorship deal for them would be like, oh, we give those out all the time. Unfortunately, we only have like 10,000 listeners, and they were looking for a market of, let's say, 1 million followers.
We were just starting. We didn't know.
Tessa Brooks, the daughter here, they probably would have said, heck yeah, we probably should have used her.
A couple more of these, and we'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there. We got state, as we speak, we're already going to know who's playing next weekend. We've got 6 teams. Can I just start?
High school football, let's go.
High school football. Let's just start how bad Clovis North got screwed. 13-0 Clovis North Broncos ranked 6th in the state. They're going to have to take on
32nd in the nation.
Everyone predicted they're going to play De La Salle, and everyone thought, well, it's going to be a no-brainer. Get the snack bar ready, Buchanan. The De La Salle Spartans are coming to town. It's going to be packed. Wait, what? What's CIF? You're going to have to go play at a Pop Warner Stadium at De La Salle. That's the biggest crime I've ever seen. Clovis North, and it changes everywhere. Well, they're that good. They can beat them everywhere. That's wrong. Okay, going on the road like this to Concord, California, it's not going to be easy. 13-0 Clovis North has to go on the road because the CIF told our local media, because last year the De La Salle had to go on the road, and so we felt like they had to not go on the road this year, so they get a home game. Wait, rewind. Yeah. What? Yeah. So you're like saying the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles won the NFC East, and the Cowboys finished second this year because the Cowboys had to travel. They'll get the home game this year.
There is no excuse. There is nothing they can say to make that come out as any justice. That was one of the gross flaboos of all time in the history of our high school athletic program. Yeah. It's a go. Okay, here's the catch-22. I don't understand that. Catch-22, bad term. This is the conundrum that I can't seem to get out of. The whole world we live in high school football now is based on a computer, apparently. It's based on Cal Preps. Throw it all in, strength of schedule, games you played, strength of the opponents you beat or lost to, your preseason level of league you're starting in, division you're starting in. Everything is based, you can track it weekly. Oh, boy, now we're in D5. Now we're going to be in D6. You can track it because it's all there in black and white. If you are higher ranked, you get a higher seed. If you're higher ranked in that computer, you get a bigger division. Whether you're D2, you'll move to D1. Except for, apparently, there's a loophole with the CIF. If you're lower ranked, and I'm not talking like close. No, not even close. De La Salle is like number 23 or 24 in our state ranking on the computer. Clovis North is number 6. They have a common opponent. J. Sarah of Santa Margarita, Clovis North whacked the floor with them. Orange Lutheran got beat by J. Sarah. Orange Lutheran whacked De La Salle. Clearly, Clovis North belongs in a advantageous position. How that took place is absolutely, maybe it was the Catholic, maybe it was the church. I don't know what it was, but how in the world De La Salle got a home game over Clovis North is a travesty of justice.
I think the Pope called, and said, hey, we can't have our boys. The private professional De La Salle Spartans travel to that Podunk Valley. We're way too good for that. And the CIF said, state went, you're right. We'll make it happen. Thank you, Mr. Pope. Here's the other thing.
They're the number 6 team ranked all divisions in the state.
Ask you
one last thing. By all rights, just FYI, here's a little notice that came about. Clovis North Broncos in the state rankings, they're ranked higher than Sarah San Mateo, who's playing Mater Dei for the Open Championship. Sarah San Mateo, our representative from Northern Cal, is going to the Open Championship with Mater Dei, the number 1 ranked team in most polls in America. Clovis North is ranked above Sarah San Mateo.
Let me just tell
and they are going on the road.
Mater Dei will be your number 1 team. That's going to be a slaughterhouse. Okay.
Did they? I thought they lost their. Did they lose their?
Mater Dei?
Yeah.
No, Mater Dei lost to St. John Bosco in their regular season game, and then in the playoffs, mopped the floor 34-7 or something.
We're talking professional high school football right there. We're talking. But let me just ask you guys, because when I finally shut it down, the PAG meter, who's going to stand up for the CIF because I see our soft media saying, well, the CIF said, okay, if the CIF said eat dog shit, would you? Someone's got to stand up.
That's kind of the part I wasn't a fan of is the lack of pushback.
We have
some of it. It was like
that should be the biggest story.
Well,
How
and
in the world
I'm
did
a big
Clovis Norton not play at Veterans Stadium at Buchanan for a home game?
Jake, you might be the one coming in. Who's going to step up when I step down?
No, I'm not doing all of that.
Who's going to be it, Matt? Because I get these
nobody.
stories, and I'm like, why is it? I stroll.
Well, originally,
what? Nobody's talking about
well,
it.
in the beginning, everyone's going to be happy when you're gone, and then after about a year, less than a year, they'll start thinking, God, we really miss that guy because no one's reporting on this stuff. But in the immediate time, because right now, half of our listening audience or anyone who checks out will be saying, God, get rid of him.
But again,
here's the deal. In all honesty, nobody will. Just as if no one replaced the Fresno Bee. There's no more color photos each year of the all-star teams and how that really meant something. I remember those days of honoring the player of the year and all that kind of stuff. And then every morning picking up and you'd see all these great stories from great sports writers in high school. Yeah, Nicky Boy. It's me, Andy. No Andy Bogart telling stories. No more of that. So that's gone, and that'll never be come back.
Ever.
And then this thing that you do, you're so abrasive in the things you do. I've had to stand up for you and claim that he's on his own. He's on his own.
You're not his keeper.
I'm not his not me. Matter of fact, the only reason I'm here is that there's another voice so we can at least tamper down anything that gets anybody upset in my world, which is schools. So I'm here to defend the schools and the districts that are on his list of worst districts, top 10 list. I'm here to defend those guys. But a lot of what you said over all these years has been absolutely spot on. And those, you'll always have detractors who say, wait a minute, because they have a vested interest in being on the other side. But anyone who really takes an internal snapshot in the mirror knows, for instance, someone should have been so vocal about this Clovis North story and jumped on top of it, how the number 6 undefeated team who actually took on a Trinity League power mollywopped them here in our backyard, and all of a sudden takes a ranking that well, Central probably had a ranking up there.
Well, what's the point of them then?
Yeah. So if you're ranked that high, the highest ranked D1 team out there, higher ranked than the team that's playing for the Open Championship, how in the world you've got to go on the road? There is no explanation. There is no explanation. Unless I'm missing something like apparently Clovis Unified voted they want to go on the road because the school buses, we have no charters to take and we can't, whatever it is, there's no excuse. Clovis North got canoodled on that. They really
what's
did.
Interesting is when in 21, I was at Madera coaching baseball. We won the section. First ever state baseball playoff.
Yes.
There were teams that didn't go.
Yeah.
And so it didn't change the rankings. It just gave like lower seeds ended up with buys. But I guess, do you contemplate like not going after being screwed like that?
No. But the thing is, see, I've always been KMJ, John Brodsky taught me a long time ago. We love John. And John taught myself and Tim McDonald, because we had an idea for a show at their Old World Sports Cafe, and he was up for it, but he didn't want it to be really open and honest like this. Why? Because KMJ is moving steadily down the tracks, as he said. Nothing's veering off. That's not the world they like to dabble in, these sports talk radio shows. But we'll try it with John Brodsky being basically the narrator of this thing. But he was right. I mean, if you're making money and you're doing good things and everything's going along smoothly and your test scores are all good, why would you divert into some other area? And so in sports, in high school, you're moving along fine. Why not make that ruling? Because we know, other than the PAG meter, no one's going to really care and speak up for it. So let's just do the thing because we don't want to upset the almighty De La Salle Spartans, who are legendary in our state for their 151 win streak. We don't want to do the right thing because we're getting too much flack from the people that don't want to leave beautiful Concord and travel out here to Fresno Clovis. Bingo. That's the only thing I think could have happened. Some of the bigwigs that operate that high level. No, hell no. We went on the road last year. We're not going to go on the road again.
That's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
There can't be any other answer because why would you take a team that's ranked in the 20s over a team that's ranked 6?
If you don't want to travel, then you forfeit.
But no, see, we're talking De La Salle.
Who gives a shit?
My point on
I don't care. They're nobody to me.
It's De La Salle.
But my point on the track is, if they lose Clovis North, which I don't believe they will, I like the Broncos. If they lose, now the idiots at the high level, the big shots, have got all that to answer to. Like, well, you took our number 6 ranked team, put them on a road game when they should have been at home, and they lost on a field goal. That wasn't right. So they can always complain. Or they win, and then we can all say, well, that's great. They did it anyway. I told you, it doesn't matter where they play. But the losing aspect of it, to me, far outweighs, because we'll have that for the rest of our lives. We will be able to say, well, remember the year that Clovis North took the undefeated top 6 or 5 ranked team in the state and had to go on the road in a playoff game and got jobbed, hometown cooking in Concord. That's always open. They could have closed it off and said, look, we're going to send De La Salle. And if you're arguing De La Salle, you need a home game. Well, you got to go prove it. And you'll get that in the Southern Championship at D1 AA.
Or go 13-0.
Or go 13.
I understand the argument of who they lost to. I saw that on Twitter in the comments.
Yep.
They had some tough losses versus some really good teams.
Sarah beat them, and Orange Lutheran beat them.
You got to remember
two teams.
So does that factor in your?
Two teams that Clovis North is higher ranked. You can't have it both ways. If you use the computer to set up all the playoff games, to set all of the new direction about who belongs where, when it counts the most, you can't do human thing and say, well, the computer says you're better, but us humans say that you need to go on the road. You can't do that. You can't be inconsistent at the end. Stick to the computer. The Cal Prep rankings are clear. Clovis North is top of the food chain at home.
What's going to happen is if De La Salle wins, they're going to say, well, we tried to tell you you're not as good as we are. And if they lose, they said, well, Clovis North was the 6th ranked team in the state. I guarantee, Matt, you're spot on about it. What happened is we're not going to that podunk redheaded stepchild Valley school. We're way too good to travel in the Valley. And the CIF state bows to De La Salle because they're Jesus. They're bigger than Jesus. And that's and I'm thinking they'll probably look at the rankings next week, because the North CIF is saying, we got to have De La Salle represent the North in the state championship. They've got to represent. We don't know who Clovis North is. And so they won, and no one steps up. Because I've been looking at all the from Sacramento to wherever, no one has said anything how De La Salle is getting a home game, except for me.
And furthermore, I've been to De La Salle. We've scrimmaged games in the old days at Edison. I've been in the stadium. I know about the stadium. Now, they've added some to it, but it's still a metal bleachered.
It looked like it was 30, 40 yards from the field.
It's not veterans, the vet, that you could pack that place.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's something going on there, and I just can't get to the bottom of it.
There is no playoff.
You nailed it.
There is no playoff in any sport, professionally, collegiate, where the higher seed doesn't get to host.
Right.
It just doesn't.
Case closed.
There is. Name me one, and then we can argue about it.
I wish that my friend Pagmeter wouldn't have upset so many people in his lifetime.
Clovis North has Nick to blame.
Where we could have real conversation with the powers that be that would love coming and talk to us, so we can get the real skinny. But, they would still gloss over what maybe really happened. They're not going to tell you the unbridled truth.
Hey, I've reached out to CIF. I said, hey, I'd love to be part of it. I'd love to help you. I'll announce. I'll PA. I'll be part of your committee. They don't want anything to do with me. So you know what? Bafango, it's on. I'm going to tell you how I feel. This is one of the blunders, just like you messed up the Shafter Torres game. Just like if you mess up, I'm going to tell you. Just like you messed up the playoffs where Buchanan, Bullard, Edison, and Memorial didn't go. So what do? They bump up 4 teams to mess up every bracket because of that. So I'm going to tell you, if you don't want me to be on your team, giddy up. Because and this is a giddy up moment. You bowed down to De La Salle, and you didn't know how to handle it, CIF State. Now, this isn't Ryatos Central Section. We usually remember back in the day when Jim Critchlow was here, and they would meet, and we were just a Central Section, and no one cared about us. It was the North and the South, and we're like, who's not going to have to travel to the Valley? Hey, Jim, go out and get some donuts. What? Yeah, get some donuts. When you come back, we'll have all the state playoffs situated. Give me some sprinkles, though. We want some sprinkles on the donut. We had nothing to do with it. And for this to happen to Clovis North, I would hope our CIF would step up and say, no, it's crap. That this is happening. And I don't know
Maybe
if they did or
did.
not.
Maybe they did.
Well, and again, another point that we talked about, there's no playoff system that doesn't have the higher seed host. There's also no playoff, well, especially in college where coaches' poll doesn't matter. Coaches are involved in ranking. The AP poll matters in what they're doing in college football. It's not just committee, I believe, right? The committee takes into account AP, coaches'
they
poll.
take it all.
So why not take, we would be the media, right?
Yeah.
Why are the coaches not involved in the playoff conversation?
My point is they have this new system that was developed 2 years now, 3 seasons,
Yes.
where playoffs are built on, you could literally track your team by counting those that have conferences or school districts like ours in Madera Unified that you have to qualify to make the playoffs still. You have to win so many games because some leagues have strict rules, like in Visalia. You have to make better than 500 or whatever it is, or you don't even go to the playoffs. So you could read that sheet each week. Oh, that team's not even going to be in the playoffs, so we jump them. And by the time you do your own math, you can figure out, like, guys, here's the deal. We're going to D4. We're going to be a 9 seed. We're not going to get a home game. Now, we might get to an 8 seed, but it's 8 or 9. You pretty much can see it all. It's in front of you. And we did that, and Pagmeter was against a lot of that because he didn't believe the computer thing was right, and all the small schools are going to get shafted. It's not fair. It's for the big boys. Whatever he believed is what he believes. But we had to do it because that's the new way we do it. Except at the end of the year, they didn't do it that way. That's my whole point. You followed a template until you got to the big show, the state tournament, where a higher seed by far. It's not like De La Salle's a 7 and North is a 6. They're not even in the top 20 in the state, and we have Clovis North undefeated in the top. They're 6.
It's a corrupting crime.
Something's not right. And someone's eventually going to tell us the real story, hopefully. But there's a lot of the great playoff games. And Nick, I know you wanted to talk about the poor officiating that we've noticed, but it's not a lot of the crews. But if this is not a reason why officials need to get help, more funding, whatever it is, I don't know why, because I've never seen such poor officiating. It's now on film that this coach at Shafter sent out. There's other things. It's like, my goodness.
Yeah, it's complete corrupt.
How could you have a ball on the 6-yard line for your opponent?
Sorry.
And there's a play downfield. There's flags flying everywhere. Offsetting penalties. They bring the ball back, but they put it on the 11-yard line instead of back to the 6th. And when the coach complains, which you could visibly see on film, that he sent the guy over, and then another official.
You're talking about the Torres Shafter.
And they huddled up. And they had a little conference like, are you sure? And when they got done, it was obvious it was the wrong spot. They left it there. It's the worst officiating I've seen in quite some time. And so for you to talk about CIF, that is not, as I told you last week, I just want to say I told you so, that was an official blunder. It was not a CIF blunder. This whole Shafter
say it
Torres
again. It
game
was
thing.
It was both. They tried to correct themselves. The CIF wouldn't let. Well, I'm not going to go back in. It was a complete
after
blunder
seeing this
of a game.
footage of the rest of the blunders they made, the same crew over all of the playoffs.
I get it, but
clearly
that
they were
was
not
a bad
prepared
call.
to officiate a good quality game. That's horrible officiating.
Yeah. He's talking about the Shafter Torres game. Well, let's talk about first
And
of all.
then the Wasco game that followed
Let's
up.
talk about Clovis North and De La Salle. Even though this game has already happened, it could be 40-0 one way or the other. We don't know. But I think what Clovis North has going for them is De La Salle has played every game in a spread attack. They have not seen a downhill running attack like Clovis North. How big of an effect? You only have 3 or 4 days to get ready.
I saw number 3 run on TV.
Yeah.
What's that kid's name? Clovis
For who?
North.
For Clovis North? Jackson. Sinfield.
Jackson Klein.
Now, good luck.
I mean, Jackson Sinfield.
Sinfield, yeah.
He's a big boy.
He's only a junior.
He's a physical kid.
Is he number 3 or
yeah,
is it
I
the other
think-
guy, McKay Madsen?
No, that's McKay Matson.
Yeah, 3 is McKay Madsen.
One, I thought, I don't know.
They have 3
That
backs.
was a junior. It was a junior.
Yeah, they're both
Whoever he
juniors.
is.
They're both
McKay
juniors.
Matson and Jackson Sinfield.
They
They're both
are
juniors, and they look
incredible.
like Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Those guys aren't committed anywhere yet?
Well, McKay, I'm just letting you know, he's probably going to he's a Mormon, so he's going to go on the mission. So he'll probably come back when he's 31. Then he'll be
Though they
playing
were
with somebody.
impressive.
Good for him.
I just say they were very impressive. That was the first
Very-
time I had watched
Yeah.
that Valley title game.
Very
and
impressive.
Whoa.
Okay. You're
Well, I'm
absolutely,
just saying,
you're
don't you
absolutely
think that's a key? Because if you haven't seen that offense, you can watch film all you want. You can visualize it until you actually see it. It's going to be, and the key will be De La Salle's front 7, And can Clovis North defense step up? Because there's only 3 guys that touch the ball for De La Salle, the quarterback and the 2 running backs, and they're gonna move it.
Yeah, they took a plan early on after they got whacked in their first 2 games, Sarah and Orange Lutheran. Their pack became very clear. We are going to run the football. We're going to play old school De La Salle football, just come downhill on you, and it started to work. And it got them on to where they're at now, what, an 8, 9?
10 in a row.
10 in a row.
10 and 2. They started. They started 0-2 because all of a sudden, when the private professionals get eligible, then they start coming in, and then you figure it out. So that's what happens when you're. Well, you're going against Clovis North, a neighborhood public school, versus one of the greatest private professional high schools in our land, the originator when it comes to private professionals, and everyone else has now copied.
Well, yeah, there's more private professionals who have surpassed the modern day greatness. That's for sure.
I'm just saying. No, I'm talking about De La Salle. They were the one of the originals.
I know. All right, but there are now more private professionals, i.e., Sarah.
All I'm saying, they're the founders.
They're one of the originators.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
All I'm saying.
There's no doubt.
Go ahead. Sorry, Jim.
But
no, you're good.
But the 2 contrasting styles is what makes a great football team. The problem is they're not contrasting styles. They play exactly kind of the same plan. And De La Salle's defense will be missing. Their 3 top defenders are unlikely to play. They're doubtful, which means they're hurt, which means even if they do play, they're not going to be at full strength. The only chance De La Salle has is the shenanigans they pulled to try to get that game at their place, which is still upsetting me clearly. That's the chance they have, because this De La Salle team is going to be prideful. They're going to play out of their minds. They're going to have the effect of being at home with a lot of that comfortability that goes along with it. That's going to be a plus in their factor. But Clovis North is clearly a better football team. I've looked at it from every which way but sideways. Clovis North is a more effective football team, and Clovis North will win the game.
You know what I love about this, Jake?
They will win the game.
Clovis North players, they played in Granite Ridge, middle school, probably elementary school. Most of them have played all the way up. They're going to be playing team. Their roster, where do they come from, Matt? California? Nevada?
No. De La Salle doesn't get down like Mater Dei and Bishop Gorman does. That's a homegrown Bay Area group. You might come in from Oakland or Berkeley or other parts outside of what you would consider their school boundaries, but they're very similar to, let's say, I think that, San Joaquin Memorial in our own backyard has more of a global reach recruiting-wise than what De La Salle has. They've got tradition and pride and a lot of great football players in that region. But, yeah, they get a few here and there. But they're not even nearly close to Bosco in Mater Dei. Where did he come from? Well, he came from San Diego. He came from Nevada. No, they don't do that.
No, I agree.
Folsom does more of that than what De La Salle does.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're the originators back in the day.
They were. They upset a lot of people. They won guys, number-wise, they won 151 straight games.
Well, here's the other factor,
against national power programs.
Here's the other factor I'm going to say is Clovis North they've got to pretend they're playing Pekingese high school, because sometimes when you're playing De La Salle, that's intimidating. Well, they got De La Salle on their uniform.
No, I don't think they care. I think they're pissed. I
hope so.
I think it doesn't matter. They're there for blood.
Last focus, that's perfect setup. Mike Jaycott knew what he was doing, the head coach of Clovis North. They played a Trinity League heavyweight. Not a De La Salle, not Bosco, certainly not Mater Dei, but Jay Serra, San Juan Capistrano is in that league. And they go toe-to-toe with Servite and Rancho Santa Margarita and all this. So they know what that kind of a team looks like. De La Salle still looks like, to me, it's film. I've watched television on them. They look like a regular high school football. There's nothing like, you look at Mater Dei, front offensive line, 6'4", 305, 6'6", 295, 6'5", 240, 295, 340, 320. They're bigger than most colleges.
Yeah.
De La Salle's not going to present themselves even the same way that this Jay Serra from Santa Margarita that came up. They don't look like that. So that's one big factor. And then, of course, there's the coach, Mike Jaycott. That's where he came from. Orange Lutheran, Trinity League, down south, Orange County. He's going to have his guys ready to go. I just looked at Jackson Sinfield. That's the name. My daughter and I were like, I made the comment. Dude, that's Christian McCaffrey. I've never seen a junior the look, his body type, that guy's amazing. And we all know that Jay Cott is a weight room fanatic. I like the Broncos. It's the perfect storm. They got a perfect team built to go against these private professional
All I'm saying,
teams.
it would be a slam dunk win if they're at Buchanan. Now you're playing on the field turf.
That's right.
And so it's going to be it could be 1 or 2 point.
And then you can, but I do hear your point, though. It is a big game, and it is De La Salle. Yeah. And maybe, just maybe, let's hope not so. Well, the game plan was we were just going to just take the air out of the ball and just try. No, don't start thinking you're all that. Play your football that you've won with. Because I thought Clovis North got a little bit conservative late in this run to win our section championship, our Valley, or not our Valley, but our Central Section championship. And I think that's why Clovis East had a chance to kind of come back on them a little bit. They got to play lights out, open the playbook up, and let's go to work, because I have never seen the entire time I was here. I thought the Clovis North team they had years back, what was the quarterback's name that went
Christian Rossi.
Rossi, and they went to Long Beach Poly. I thought that team was constructed about as good as you can get. A UCLA running back, another power back, and
they had that big tight end.
The big tight end. They had Bolu. I mean the big defensive lineman that went to USC, Jacobs. Talent everywhere. Quarterback Rossi you talked about, and then of course that year Central had Trent Tompkins. I've never seen two high school teams in our section built like that until this Clovis North team came along. They have all the factors built in to make a long run and go down and play the winner of Mission Viejo, Orange Lutheran, who's Mission Viejo got to play? Mission
I don't know if
Bay?
I put it on my
Mission Hills. Check on that one. It's out of San Diego where they got to play. Mission Hills. They got a chance to win the state.
Yeah, well,
so they understand what's up against, and they've got to have a little chip on their shoulder because they're going to get off that bus with an apple and a road map and maybe a bologna sandwich, thinking, "Why are we on the road, Coach?" Take that out on them.
Well, and I liked it that you haven't heard anybody complaining about it, but the people that should be people like us.
I just don't understand.
I just like that they're quiet.
Let's move on. There's a lot of games here. We're under the clock.
Yeah.
We're at an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay, let's go. Division 2. Let's go. I got to get my readers so I can see. Division 2, we got CVC. Division 2, they're going to call it Division 2A. This game, again, it's already played. This was on Saturday night. Simi Valley, the Pioneers, they come in, travel, and take on CVC, who's 13-1. And then people, Bagmeter, Simi Valley, that's a bigger school. When you're a private I want to say CVC's private. They're just a private school. All bets are off when it comes to enrollment and how many people come in. But both offenses are pretty much, I would say they're about the same. They're going to run downhill. But the big X factor in me is can Simi Valley slow down Brian Donaldson? There you go. If they do, we got a ball game. If they don't, we don't have a ball game.
Simi Valley, on my notes, 103-year history, have never been anywhere close to a game like this. They beat Miracosta in overtime to get here. They're led by Jesse Sereno, quarterback, 2,900-plus yards passing, 27 TDs. Junior running back Bryce Hawkins. I don't know if this is good or not. Your quarterback threw for about 3,000, and your junior running back went for 1,640 with 19 TDs. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think CVC's offense is better. I think Simi Valley's defense is better. And it's going to be the key for me is CVC has to play better defense. 2 weeks in a row, they've had to win the last second, and it's been a shootout. So I think the CVC D's got to step up.
That's right.
Division 4A, which Mission Oak got a pretty good. A seeding. They're Division 4A. Congratulations to Marty Martin and the Mission Oak Hawks. They won their first Division 3 section championship in school history. That's the first championship in any sport at Mission Oak. And great job, Marty Martin. They're going to take on Rio Hondo, the Prep Cares, which I don't even know what that is. Is that a bear?
No, Cares is like
I don't.
No, I looked it up. Cares is like caring for your. It's not a mascot.
Well, so.
It's a
how do you
state of being.
We're the Cares. We care for you.
Well, not Cares, but it's spelled with a K.
Just from that, I got to take Mission Oak.
Yeah, they don't. It's not a mascot.
If you can't figure out what your mascot is,
their mascot's not an animal or anything like that.
I think
it's a state.
Here's how Mission Oak plays every.
I'm gonna look it up. I know it's something.
Mission Oak plays every game close in the first quarter, and they slowly start to wear you down. But I think they're playing on that horrible field turf at Tulare Union. I don't know when you're going to get that fixed. Get a new. You know, I think the over and under for field turf is 10 years before you need a new one. They're at like 15 years. So I think I'm giving the edge to Mission Oak because they know that field turf. You played on it before.
Yes, lots of times.
Very slick, right?
Slick. It's not very good.
You don't know what kind of cleats to wear. And Rio Hondo, which I love that, and they're a prep school. That means they're probably a professional school, right? They're going to get off the bus and they're going to run around and go, Coach, I'm slipping a lot. What do I do? What are they going to do? Go to Dick's Sporting Goods store and buy some new cleats? No.
Don't give Dick's any credit right now.
Are still on Matty J's
he
bad
got
list.
that imprinted on your mind.
Yeah, I know. So that's true. So what do you want to say? Does Marty Martin pull it off?
Yes, absolutely. He's in a different. Here's a problem for the teams in the southern section, or anywhere for that matter, but mainly southern section. I've noticed in the history of these new state playoffs, they have like 16 divisions in Southern Cal. And so you might win, like a lot of these schools, like the team that's playing Torres won their Division 8 championship. Well, what really are they? You know what I'm saying? Up here, I like our divisions. You know a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. Certainly you know about a 6 and 8-man football. But when you're talking about 14 different divisions, who's to say Division 10, which sounds like it must be tiny, isn't a power? But most of the time, we get the break of taking a D3 or D4 team off to go play a D10 or D9 or D8 team, and we're better than they are.
Well,
I think that's why you've seen a lot of success when you look at the schools that have gone through Shafter and this year's. Who's our other?
Well, you're out there.
There's no small town team here. Geez, I forgot.
Strathmore?
Yeah, the coach that got hurt. He went through a.
Jeremy Blackwell.
Blackwell.
Well, he always throws pressure on you. Like, you better know.
No, we know what we're talking about. I just went blank.
Strathmore.
Strathmore and those teams that have won state titles, they go down because they're a true small school, but they go into the tournament, and since they're so small, you're playing Southern Cal's like Division 14 school that has 3 players that play football. It's never an equal. It's hard to match those state games up because it's hard to get the parity right. It really is. And it always favors us. It doesn't favor us when we go into the northern section, like Clovis North is and a few others. But when you get the southern nod and you're a lower division school in our area, like a Mission Oak D3 type school, I like Mission Oak. I like them by a lot, like a couple touchdowns.
Well, Rio Honda, the Pep, we don't care about you or whatever you want to say. They're 13-1, and they could be sandbagging. We don't know for sure. But I think playing at home, Mission Oak Speed, this is one of the better teams they've had. And so congratulations to Marty Martin. They're going to be at Division 4A. They're playing Saturday night. We already know who won, but we don't know because this is Friday, December 1, right? Let's go to Division 4. Now, Division 4 AA. Torres, who crushed Dos Palos last week, 69-14. They're going to travel. They're probably on the bus right now. Since this is Friday, they're probably at home. Now, how do you say their name?
Who
they're playing? Torres is playing Europa
Hills.
Europa Hills. So Europa Hills already thinking that's got to be a nice area. The Spartans.
Well, it's Fontana. I mean, how nice is Fontana? It's on your way to it's Riverside area. No, they're an Inland Empire team that is for the first time ever. They're also brand new to this game. Very good matchup. The closest game, as far as on paper, I see of the week. Of course, I like Torres. I love the fact that the great school district, Madera Unified, has put together growth in their district, added a new high school, and not a very large town, added a new high school, and in 3 years, Torres is playing in a state game. He's won a No, it's the truth. Think about
Madera,
it. No, this has nothing to do with my Madera affiliation.
Well, I graduated from Madera High School.
It's a brand new. No, think about it. A brand new school. 3 years, you're in the tournament.
No disrespect.
Come on,
because Madera is close to my heart.
Yes,
but I think the Coyotes would have won Division 4, right? They were in Division 4.
Yeah. Well,
No doubt.
I'm not trying to be rude, but
I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
There's always the circumstances they're lucky. The new school opened up. They didn't have to go play like in a mega league, like a CMAC or something. They got to bring it along slowly, but
it's still impressive. Having said all
that,
it sounds really shitty the way I put that. It was not my intention.
I know. No, you're right. But that's like, you could say that about any school. If they wouldn't have put us in that division, we would have been. But the thing is, it's so hard to win.
Yeah. Yep.
And in the history of the great city town of Madera,
I'll never forget.
they've never won.
No.
They've never hung a
With a lot of
championship
talent,
banner with some great talented teams coming through.
Well, this is why they're playing.
They did it in 3 years.
They're playing.
It's impressive.
Huge.
And then listen,
Impressive.
I want them to win and the whole thing.
Yeah. So
They've got a tough one tonight. You're going along on the road. You don't know what you're getting into. This is a flip of the coin.
Well, what do they
game.
have to lose? They're in that.
Well,
that
they're playing with
position
house.
of- yeah.
They're playing with house
They-
money because they shouldn't even be here.
Well,
they lost to Shafter, so they're playing with house money.
the hardest thing is,
Sorry.
and I have a little.
But we're fat. Kenny Pownelli, head coach of Madera Coyotes, you overachieved this year. And this is what these playoffs.
Hey, he wants to come on
You
here.
cannot
Yes, we'll
win
get him on.
every
We'll get him
game.
on.
Tehachapi, hey Warriors, you went 10-0, but you got screwed at the end. You can't win every game. You got to start playing some of your JV players. Move down in
here we
rankings.
go.
That's what happens with this
Here
stupid
we-
playoff format.
Well, here we
you
go.
win,
It has
but you
nothing
lose.
to do with that.
The new, let me just talk. The new 10-0 is really 6-4 or 7-3. If you go 10-0, you're screwed. End of story.
How about this concept? Whether you like it or not, in my opinion, but I live it daily, Madera showed their worth by not accepting the watered down version of this new thing we're involved in with all these divisions. You're absolutely right, Jake. Madera could have gone from day one and said, look, we also want out of the CMAC. We want to play in a new NYL or whatever the league's going to be that's less than Sanger and Bullers of the world. They never played into that. I know that they stuck in there, and you got to applaud them for that. They're not trying to they're trying to be the best they can be, and I give them credit. The reality of it is they probably should be in a lower division or in a lower league, but they're still battling. Torres, just the perfect storm. They had a great talent group coming through. They started at a low level,
Right.
and so they got to play teams that right out the gate, it was clear to me they're a lot better than. Where you take Sunnyside, who gave Torres a great game, and Sunnyside ended up winning it in the end, but it was a great game, and Sunnyside's like D2.
But the difference
And Torres
is
was D4.
The difference, Madera's based in D3, so they can't play. They can
Well,
only go to
they
D4.
don't have to be-
Torres is based in
They
D5
don't have
or
to
4.
be. They don't have to be based in D3, is what I'm saying.
This is what
they
it
made.
is.
They made the conscious effort. They want to play up, and that's not to say that I'm playing down, which I'm actually playing down. But
All I'm
Torres
saying-
played right where they put him because they're brand new.
All I'm saying
No,
is
to get to where they got in 3 years
Oh, come on!
is
Incredible.
impressive.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's just
Now,
me being
to
a homer or coyote. That's all.
Yorupa Valley, and then of course you look at Torres. So similar, it's frightening. You have Joseph Bass, the quarterback Sereno, and of course Amani Sua in the backfield, only a junior. They're like Clovis North. They're men. They're men playing a child's game.
this is why this game will
And
be
then-
interesting because they're both matched up. They both
Yes.
run a dual threat, both teams. So
Yes.
it's going to come down to the front seven
right.
and D.
That's right.
It's going to be. That's why it's a flip of the coin. But you don't know what you're getting into. The field conditions, maybe the lights are off.
Yeah.
The officials, we don't know. And speaking of officials, going to Division 6 AA, Wasco Tigers last week beat Bishop Union 42-41 in the worst officiating I have ever seen. It was the same crew from the Shafter Torres game, and you're the one who's talking about. Bishop should have won. Sorry, Wasco. You're playing with house money tonight too. Bishop got screwed. End of story. You want to watch the game? I'll send you I watched the whole game, and Arnie Palu, Bishop Union, I'm so sorry that happened to you and that country dumb officiating crew who did just a horrible, shitty job.
Whoa, geez,
Okay,
easy.
so Wasco's
Fighting
on the
words.
trail. They're going to play the Cerritos.
Cerritos.
Yeah, Cerritos, and they're both Wasco's 8-5, Cerritos is 9-5. And this is pretty much both teams want to pound the ball.
Yeah.
Do you give it to the home team when this happens? I mean, I don't know. This is the flip of the coin again.
No, I like Wasco. I have a great love and respect for the town of Wasco. The little public golf course there we play in the summertime is great. Good people. And I like Wasco. Matter of fact, I like every single, and this is not being a homer, I like every single Central Section team minus maybe I might give the nod to, What's the other game we still haven't talked about? We're missing
Strathmore.
One. Strathmore game. That's going to be. I read about that when I looked at both sides. But they're playing a team out of San Francisco. And last I checked, they haven't played football in San Francisco since O.J. Renthal James Simpson was coming out of Galileo
to
High.
me,
So I like Strathmore now. I like every Central Section team.
Well, the only team for me, the only team that has it to me, and everyone else is like, no way. Strathmore has zero chance. Strathmore has the only chance out of the 6. To me, it's a slam dunk win.
Over the
okay, if you have
Lincoln
to narrow,
out of San Francisco.
Yeah, I just think because Jeremy Blackwell, they have no idea when they get off the bus when they're getting into playing Strathmore. San Francisco, they're going to get off the bus and they're going to meet Jacob Poole almost on every play. They're going to run downhill. It's physical. They don't play physical up in San Francisco.
No, I agree.
And they're going to find out what football is like in the Valley. And they're going to back on the bus and go, get us the frick out of here. Who are these Spartans of Strathmore?
Yeah.
So that's the only game right.
That might be my rubber band bet.
And that's Division 7A. Okay, Strathmore somehow worked their program in the Division 7A, and this is the best story of the year. Jeremy Blackwell was in a DEFCON 2 after that heat stroke in the summer where he was laying in a puddle of mud, almost drowned and died, and now he has a chance to win the state. Now there's only one team in Tulare County who's ever won the state, and that's Strathmore. And they're going to possibly go for their number 2.
Yeah.
Their number 2. They're going to take on the Lincoln Mustangs. They're 9-3, but I'm telling you, Jake, they're going to get off the bus. It's like a guy in baseball throwing 105 miles an hour going, we've never faced a guy throwing 105 miles an hour.
Totally agreed.
So Jacob Poole, remember the name.
Yep.
He'll get 40 carries tonight, or that game will be Saturday night at 6. They already know.
The CVC game was the one I was thinking might be the one where that's a tough
That's
game.
a flip of the coin.
That's a flip of the coin.
Because it comes down to CVC. I'm just not sold on their defense.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I think Clovis North has a great chance if they just forget about they're playing De La Salle and play football. And I think Jay Cott and Vince Brandstetter and that coaching staff will have them thinking, you know what? We're better than these guys. Forget about the name. You know how it is, Jake. When you walk in, you're going to play the Buchanan Bears or something in that stadium. And you're like, oh, it's already. That's how we were at the Bowling Knights back in the day.
Been there.
We're up 3-0 before we got off the bus.
The year we won it, we weren't supposed to win.
Yeah.
We were paid 25-3 team.
How do you coach kids up to saying, you know what? Let's play our ball.
If there's outs to get, there's time on the clock. It's never over until all those things are done. So you have a chance until and listen, I've never been one to let rankings creep into. I don't care what you're ranked. It doesn't matter, especially in the playoffs when it's one and done and anything can happen and who shows up. So I think with Clovis North, I think also them going up, I think they went up yesterday. It was probably also another good thing, I think, for them. They're not traveling day of the game.
Yeah.
Who does that? Day of the game when you got a road trip.
Well, I was going to bring it up.
Early morning.
I was going to bring it up with Matty J in 2014.
Yeah.
They won the Central Section Championship. They beat Jordan Love. They beat Liberty.
Yeah.
And so they go to San Diego in the first round. And I'll never forget, I'm watching on TV, and Matt had no idea. He's over here talking to the
show
offense,
and go.
And all of a sudden, Edison fake punts at their own 20-yard line. And he turned around and go, who called that? And I'll never forget, he looks up in the air. He was giving one of these, I can't believe that just happened. And they showed Matt, on the phone. That was a classic.
Yeah.
He's still on therapy.
Bad memories. But that story is what I would equate to not quite the travel distance, of course. That was a long road trip.
Too long.
But for Torres, we were the similar kind of deal. At Edison, we hadn't won anything since 1972 or 3, the big show. We'd won a couple D2 section titles. But to win the big game, what used to be the Valley Championship before the Coast came on board, that was our goal. There was no goal for us going in. Let's get to the state game. It was win our championship league and then, of course, the Section Valley Championship. When we did that, that it's going to be hard to get them back up. And that's all I'm counting for Torres, that you just, for the first time in Madera history, you've won a championship of football. And it's so hard to hit that pinnacle of that, and then you got to get cranked up for a regional state game. If anybody could do it,
this is
the attitude of Joe Marquez. He can do it. The head coach at Torres. I like that one. And there's so many. I got to get back to my NFHS and get on the online here, because those games will be starting shortly.
Why aren't we doing
And they're all
that?
over television.
Why is
they're
it CIF?
they're all
Hey,
televised.
CIF, why does it have Nick and Matt doing those games? We got guys that don't even know where Madera is. We're in Madera. We're over, and Arosa. You know, we got.
That,
they don't even know our area, and they got them broadcasting our game.
Well,
I can't listen.
yeah. That ship sailed when we threw.
You keep talking about them the way you do. I get why they
that
don't.
line of communication was severed.
I reached out, and I said, "Hey, I'd love to be a broadcaster,
Rhymes
PA
with
at
Papagni.
games." Hey, but who else is the biggest supporter in high school sports?
Well,
I just want to bring common sense back.
But let me just say this for you. Believe what you want to believe. There is no one better than you when it comes down to play-by-play / knowing the dynamics of all these kids. It's amazing to me. You talked about what happens when you leave. It's amazing to me the amount of time and energy you spend writing reports, checking out. People can read all the time. Oh, that's ridiculous. I can't believe he put us, look what he says about us. But at least you're being talked about. I've been on both sides of that coin. When no one's even caring about writing stories or talking about you, is that what you want? I don't mind a negative little story here and now. At least we're in the news. You've taken it to a level that no one will ever approach. Pag meter.
Nobody's going to do all the sports.
No, there's no way. And then the thing that just really does trouble me is just to hear you one more time with those famous words of "down goes Jake." God, I mean, just the way your energy in the game, and I follow right along with you. That's what's missing in our high school world is that energy, that enthusiasm. So these kids always came away feeling like, man, we were treated to a treat. Where do we go to buy that tape? I want to buy that tape.
Well, for example,
because you delivered it perfectly.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, you really do.
But I get stories. Here's one story that I'm going to talk about this week. Sanger West is playing Orange Cove at Orange Cove in basketball, boys basketball. Okay, looks like a nice game.
Yeah.
But you got kids doing the scoreboard. Score. They're just starting to put some points here and there. All of a sudden, Sanger West is going, hey, you got it 41-38. Well, no, it's a. Orange Cove ends up winning the game. The score was way off because these kids are just messing around with the scoreboard, and no one made it. No one's talked about that. These are the little stories that no one else will talk about.
Was there a scorebook? There's a book, right?
There was a scorebook, but it was all messed up.
I always go by the book.
I agree.
And both sides are keeping the book, and there should be someone at the scorer's table keeping a book.
It's no difference than maybe baseball when you got the pitch count. Well, we have 86. Well, no, we have 94.
That's been a nightmare.
Yeah.
No, I think it's impressive what you've done over both of you guys, and you know, putting yourself out there, number one, is not easy to do. I can tell you that. And then the work, and what we do with Hit or Die, or the other podcasts that I do, I could not imagine doing every and I think people while they have their comments about maybe some of the things you say or how you handle certain situations, I think everybody should be at least appreciative of the work you do, regardless of whether they agree with you or not. Because there's a lot of cities in this area that I've found out doing baseball or in the States, and I've gotten messages from all over the country, honestly, that don't even have an ounce of what we do for the high school area kids. From Bakersfield to Chowchilla, basically. So,
and that is the statement that I wanted to make, that you can talk, and everyone's entitled to who you like and what your opinions and all that.
And disagree.
But the bottom line is, you do have to realize that the passion and the commitment to bring these stories to life, it's there. And, by the way, it's not like you're getting rich doing this. This is a love sidelight of I like to ride dirt bikes. I like to do that, okay? But I could never even imagine. How you doing, Nick? It's midnight. What are you doing? Can you help me? I'm just putting the last paragraph together on our season report for girls basketball. Who does that? You do that. So I don't want to, I can argue and stand up for you all day long. Does it upset me at times when someone's painting me with the same brush they would paint you? Oh, well, that goes with the game.
It does.
Am I linked? This is my guy. I'm linked with him. But let me assure you, we are what we are. We do not agree on a lot of things.
We don't, but we do.
We agree on the stuff that's common sense. Absolutely. The officials blow a call, and if they tried to fix it, which apparently they did, then good for them. But the bottom line is, if you don't tell the story, how can we ever exist in this country if we don't know all?
Well,
what's
that's a
going
great
on?
point. So Jake Saldati with Hit or Die podcast. Sometime we'll talk, and I've got to tell you, people, he gets frustrated because he'll say, you know what? There's some cities that don't support me because we might tell it like it is, and I say, Jake, again, and people love this from 3M Fencing, Manny and Mauricio. They love that line last week. Soft doesn't sell. And it's true. Soft doesn't sell. Just look at the followers on the people that are just so soft. They just want to talk. The game was 3-2, and then that final score was 3-2. That 3-2. Who cares? Why was it 3-2?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, so Jake gets frustrated, Matt. Let me ask you. That people don't support us. I think they're still listening. Even though you might be negative, you might be up, down, you're telling the complete story, but people are listening. And I say keep it up because we don't have very many people like you anymore.
Yeah, the support's great. We actually it's that people get upset. It's just my opinion on something. And it's okay that you disagree, but I've heard stories of people saying literally telling people not to do our podcast because of things we've maybe positions we've taken. Yeah. And to me, that's bullshit.
Let's be honest. Chad Rother's very outgoing, and he's going to say things probably people don't want to hear. I don't see you doing that.
Well, but I mean, like Matt said earlier, I'm not Chad's dad. I'm not his keeper. And for the most part, the majority of things Chad said I agree with.
You would not, I keep going back to this guy, but you would not have, I have people that have literally told me before, this guy, they don't know my affiliation. What's he doing? This is ridiculous. Well, you were reading it. That's all I need to tell him. Well, wait a minute. It's kind of like the guy that wants to bark at the moon about what's going on, whether it's life, government, whatever. But you were following it. You were into it. Now you're entitled to your opinion. So go get a podcast, go get a microphone, and then go do your thing. But in the meantime, don't rain on my parade because I enjoy listening and reading your stuff as every coach that I coach with does. Some people have say they don't like it. I used to hate that other little thing that was on, what was it? It was Cal High or what was it? But it was a little forum that all the coaches would
CV Preps.
It was a little CV Preps thing, and all the coaches to be on with all these alias names. I never use an alias. I tell them, this is Coach Johnson. This is what happened. But people swore that this is ridiculous, but they kept on it. They stayed with it. It is what it is. You can't please everyone. In closing of the show, I want you to know that whether you like this or not, whether you like him, you like me, you don't like my take, his take, you like Jake, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. This is stuff that is going on. It's not fictitious, pulled out of our patootie. It really does happen. And I think, as they always say, right, truth at times is stranger than fiction.
Well, for example,
and truth that we see, you can't make these stories up.
Sure.
Truth is great, and that's all you are.
But what I love about is Matty is during the football game this year. Darius South didn't have a great year. You're injured. You got
Horrible
a lot of freshmen and JVs up.
Yep.
But they took it out on Matt. They run a fake punt with 30 seconds to go in the game, up 50 because of me. And they think we're affiliated. And it's for you, Matty J. Sunnyside, again, the most corrupted sport there is in football with these guys that it's just, there's no, I mean, come on, Sunnyside, I don't know what you're doing over there, but I did it. I called out Statgate. Okay, I call it out, you guys cheating. That's what I do. Matt had nothing to do with it. So for them to run a fake punt like that, just low class.
Well, are they playing in it right now?
Thank you.
So
we all
they're at home watching.
Did we lose to them? Yes, but
checking the scores like everybody else.
Give Torres credit. Give North credit, Strathmore credit. They're still playing.
Yeah, good luck.
But all the rest of us weren't playing anymore. Does it really matter that I didn't get any and you didn't get any, but we all didn't get any? The 6 teams that are left, they're still going on. We salute you. Go Valley. Go
Well, before we get out of here, I'll do one.
Yes.
We're going to have some new sponsors. Bland Solar is going to be back with Jess Dara. Bland Solar, I'll get you all the information soon. Of course, Marty, who made the beautiful sign. Thank you, Marty, at Lab Gear. He did a good job. I didn't know it was going to be this giant wall mount deal, but it looks good.
Well, you could take
it looks really good.
the high school convention next year.
Yeah.
in
And then
Dallas.
we're going to do something with Chicken Shack. Bob Sadu out there in Herndon in 99. Herndon in 99. It's the only one we like. Get the Chicken Shack over by your house, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and we'll have other sponsors. I'm going to keep coming because this thing's going to be blowing up. Jake, Sell Dottie, Hit or Die podcast. Things we're trying to figure out. Jake's still sitting in right now, but we're trying to figure out how to work this flipping gear. We
Yeah,
don't
I'll
know
be
how
out
to do
of
it.
I'll be out of their hair at some point.
No, but we're
I'm
going to
sure.
figure out how to do it. I'm waiting for my producer, Matty J, to figure it out.
No.
Thanks for listening, everybody. It's been great. This is episode 2. Matty J, Jake Saldati for the Pag Meter. Have a great week, everybody. And
Get in the game.